From the Barbados Today newsroom, this is your evening news update, so glad you could join us. Prime Minister Mottley pleads with Barbadians and residents who have not yet received the COVID-19 vaccine to reconsider doing so for the sake of saving lives, the economy, and putting more people back to work. Delivering remarks at the Grantley Adams International Airport, where government accepted a donation of 30,000 doses of the Sinopharm COVID vaccine from China, Mottley said while a vaccinated person can still get the virus, there's strong evidence that they're less likely to become seriously ill or die.
I ask the people of this country, who I love dearly, to please consider these things. I don't have the capacity to order anybody to do anything when it comes to a vaccine. But I also want you to know that you have to pick sense from what is going on. And all of the conspiracy theories and all of the fake news that is out there on the internet, the question is, in whose interest is it? Because those of us who take the tool that exists to minimize sickness and to minimize death know the worth of the vaccine. Like with everything else in life, there's always a small risk. But the truth is that the risk of not taking it is far greater for you to get ill and for something to happen to somebody that you love than if you take it.
As the country prepares to lift its curfew on Thursday, the Prime Minister is also urging Barbadians not to drop their guard.
A few weeks ago, the people of Australia were a model for those of us looking on with respect to people who were managing COVID. Today, as we speak in Australia, they are struggling to be able to contain the spread in parts of Australia. A few weeks ago, St. Kitts was a model in the Caribbean. Today, as we speak, St. Kitts is in perhaps one of the most comprehensive lockdowns for days at a time, not hours at a time. And I start from there because I really feel that even though we have turned the corner from the worst moments, we must not let down our guard. And we must not let our guard down at all.
Meanwhile, Chief Medical Officer Dr. Kenneth George assures the Sinopharm vaccine is safe and effective.
The WHO Strategic Advisory Group of Experts on Immunization in May the 7th of this year issued interim recommendations for the use of this inactivated Sinopharm vaccine for adults 18 years and older. These vaccines are safe and efficacious and can even be given to pregnant women and persons who are immunocompromised.
The Chinese ambassador said his government, which has pledged to support developing countries with their COVID-19 fight, will continue to lend a helping hand.
Virus respects no borders and presents a common challenge to mankind. No country can wall itself off from its impact. Solidarity and cooperation are the most powerful weapons to defeat the virus. While combating COVID-19 domestically, China is actively engaged in international cooperation, providing support to the best of its ability to the international community, developing countries in particular. By mid-June, China has provided more than 290 billion masks, 3.5 billion protective suits, and 4.5 billion test kits to the world.
Government today took steps to move towards energy-efficient lighting. Parliament debated the Control of Inefficient Lighting Bill 2021, and according to Energy Minister Kerry Simmons, prohibition on a range of products will take effect in January next year, starting with the most inefficient lights and incandescent bulbs, which waste most of the energy they produce.
You will no longer be importing those 15-watt incandescent bulbs. With regard to the energy, the minimum efficiency performance standard of 25 watts, 25 lumens per watt, or what we call a 25 watt bulb, bayonet or screw, then, Mr. Speaker, sir, the import restriction will begin in July 1st, 2022. You will not be able to import it from that time, and to deal with your stock, you will not be able to sell after the 31st of December 2022. So the sale restriction begins on the 31st of December 2022. Going up to the next level, you have the 40 watt bulb, what is properly called a 40 lumens per watt. We call it a 40 watt bulb, bayonet or screw. And Mr. Speaker, sir, the import restriction on that will be January 1st, 2023. The restriction on sale will be June 30th, 2023. And the 55 lumens per watt, Mr. Speaker, sir, July 1st, 2023 will be the import restriction date, and December 31st, 2023 will be the sale restriction date.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To regional news, Jamaica's Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says the country will soon be able to test for COVID-19 variants, even as they remain on high alert for the Delta and Brazil variants of COVID-19. We get the details from Television Jamaica.
Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton said while the Delta variant of COVID-19 is not in Jamaica, he believes it will get here at some point. So far, Delta has been detected in at least 92 countries, including the United States. As a result, Dr. Tufton says additional work is needed to test for the virus.
We're not doing tests for the specific strain, but we can know whether it's positive or not. What we have to test for is whether or not it's the Brazilian strain or the Indian strain. So we will know whether or not cases are increasing. And once cases start to move up and you start to get over the 1% reproductive rate, or positivity rate beyond where we are. The ideal positivity rate would be about 5%. It's now a little over 7. Remember, it went up to about 38. So if you see it going over 10 and continuing to rise, then you know you have a problem and you have to work on that. So we have some triggers that we use and will use.
Dr. Tufton says the ministry is in the process of securing equipment to test for Delta as well as other new variants. However, Dr. Tufton says he can't give a specific timeline when the equipment will arrive in Jamaica, but it will be soon.
We have secured an agreement with CDC, and we're also looking to acquire another piece of equipment via Chase, and that will involve some training of personnel, and that will give us the capacity to test without having to send to Carrefour or elsewhere where those equipments now exist.
Further afield, as a dangerous heat wave continues to scorch Western Canada, climate scientists are expressing concern about the frequency of extreme weather events.
I'm joined by Noah Diffenbaugh. He is a climate scientist at Stanford University. Noah, you're in California. I think now 42 of 58 counties are in drought conditions. Extreme weather events like this are talked about a lot, often as just one-offs that we have to endure until things get back to normal. Is that how we should be looking at this latest heat wave?
Well, we're now in a climate where these kinds of extreme events are much more likely and much more severe, and the conditions right now are a great example. What's happening in DC and Oregon and Washington and Northern California, we have the kind of atmospheric pattern that produces heat waves, but it's a very severe version of that, and it's producing very severe heat. We have a lot of evidence now that when these weather patterns do occur, they produce more severe heat and a broader, greater spatial area of severe heat. And that's one of many kinds of extremes that we have clear evidence are increasing in frequency and severity around the world.
That's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media and bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.